All right, everybody, welcome to BO Boys for Wednesday, April 5th. F it, it's a raw feed, and we're doing it live. I'm Clayton.
I'm Pat and Clayton. We've been waiting for this episode for a really long time, and we've had this guest. He called this last year that he
Mm-hmm.
needed to be on this episode, and we were like, of course, we need the voice of a young generation talking about, I think, the movie that is going to maybe define that generation. It is the opening midweek of the Super Mario Brothers movie 2023, and we could have no better guest co-host for this episode than our longtime favorite from the great podcast I Screen You Scream for number 4
Number four.
movies. Our guest tonight is Danny Escamilaggi. Danny, join us on the special BO Boys. There he
There he is.
is. So
Let's
there
go. Let's
it's
go, everybody. So,
Let's
it's
go.
Wario. So this is why if you are just a podcast listener, it's not enough anymore. You have to become a subscriber on our YouTube channel because you would be seeing right now Danny is in full costume as Wario. Of course, the
Mm-hmm.
polar, and he's got, is that a Princess Peach outfit that you
no,
have with
no,
you?
no, no. Heck no. Come on, come on.
Oh,
No, no,
that's
no,
the
no. What
Wario,
do you
full
think the
Wario
colors were
outfit that
for?
he's showing in the back. Got it, got it,
Okay,
got it.
okay, yeah.
Got it. He has got the gloves. He has got the mustache. He has got the yellow hat with the W, which is, of course, an upside down M. They capitalized on
Mm-hmm.
that. He is a
There we go.
Wario. Danny, thank you for joining us on the Super Mario's preview edition of the BO Boys.
Pat and Clayton, thank you so much for not only accepting me for this episode, but long time coming. You guys know I'm a gamer, and I sincerely asked you way after the podcast episode of your Avatar: The Way of Water preview, which I was on there, and been thinking about this a lot since I asked you, and you guys accepted it. I've been thinking until up to this day. Been dreading this a lot, so thank you for having me, boys. Such an
Oh,
honor.
I mean, no other guests. And we love Scott Mendelson. We love
Mm-hmm.
Jeff Bach. We love Austin, and we love Brandon of Box Office
Great.
Mojo, Brandon Gray of Box
David
Office
Thompson.
Mojo, David Thompson, all of our guests we've had on over the years. But I don't think any of them would have came in costume as a Wario. I don't think Scott Mendelson would have done it. So
Fred from
that
the
is
New
the
Flesh
reason
would
it had
not
to be.
have done it.
No, he would not have done. Well, he may have done it. He may have done
He
it,
may have done it.
but it would have been like it would have been more gruesome. He would have had blood coming out of the,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Danny, this is amazing. Thank you for being here and dressing as Warriors. So right off the bat, I want to get everyone's just overall what Mario or Wario or Luigi, means to them, because I think the strength of this movie is that it has probably 40 years or so worth of brand recognition and importance to generations of people. So, Danny, you are one of the resident youngster correspondents on the BO Boys. What is Mario, Super Mario, Mario Kart, Wario? What does this IP mean to you?
So, back in the day of the Nintendo GameCube era, and I'm gonna try to be like a little nerdy, even if this is like genetically for listeners of the box office. But if you guys are Mario fans, you know how you would feel when I talk about this stuff. But let me just go on what I was going to say. So back in the Nintendo GameCube era, I played Mario Party with my siblings back in the day. Like I said, like when I was like 5, 6 years old. I know the title, and I remember all the Mario stuff. I used to have a lot back in the day with the siblings, and then been watching some of my siblings play them, like my brother, and been growing to Mario all to my own. Made some friends, and remember the fun of having these Nintendo consoles from like the Wii to the 3DS to the 3DS to the Nintendo Switch. I mean, this goes along and on how this generation like that and how this IP means the mascot to Nintendo's first video game icon since Donkey Kong.
Yes. Yes. And you're talking about an era that for you is what? Starting in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, like
Yeah, mid
2000.
2000s, pretty much.
I mean, that is the power of this IP is that is so meaningful. And you're talking about the mid 2000s. I was playing Mario Brothers back in the late 80s. You know, that is how long this IP goes back and why this movie is going to be gigantic. So, Clayton, what does Super Mario mean to you? Is Super Mario an important influence on who you are as a person? Is Super Mario something you think about every day when you get up? What does Super Mario mean to you, Clayton?
I wouldn't say much, to be honest with you, other than the fact that Mario has been omnipresent for my entire life, and Pat, probably your entire life, and Dan, definitely your entire life. I mean, one of the first video games I ever played. I was there watching The Wizard, the Fred Savage film that unveiled Mario 3. I mean, that was a huge, huge deal. um, Mario Kart in high school. Used to hang out with my buddies late at night, drinking Mountain Dew, playing that
Mm.
game, eating drumsticks. Not the, not turkey drumsticks, but the confection, the ice cream confection. And so I have some fond memories related to Mario, but I wouldn't say that I'm a super fan, and I am by no means a gamer. I mean, I don't play video games very much. I never really did other than in social settings. So it's going to be interesting though, because even me, somebody who's not, I would say, a big gaming person, and Pat, you're not a big gaming person. Mario, we know Mario. Mario is just a icon that has
Mhm.
never been exploited as an IP in a good way, at
Yes.
least filmatically, right?
Yes. 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 So, yeah, I mean, of course, I am no longer a gamer. I have probably not been a gamer for 20 years, but I was a gamer from probably age 6 to age, 18. And from 6 to, I would say, 15 or 16, a serious gamer. And that
Hmm.
entire time, there was always a Mario game that was in the mix. Mario
Yeah.
Brothers, the Super Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers 2, Super Mario Brothers 3, Super Mario World, Mario
My favorite,
64.
one of my all-time favorite titles, Super Mario World.
Su-
Love that one.
See, that's this IP, a game that came out before you were born, is one of your favorite games. That
I played
is
this on
the
the
power of
Game Boy
Mario.
Advance, where the edition was Super Mario Advance or something. That was part of the game edition, and I played on Game Boy all the time. Love that game.
I mean, Mario goes across platforms. I mean, Mario Kart,
Dr. Mario. Dr.
Doctor
Mario.
Doctor Mario, Wario. Was Wario a separate game, or is he's
Yeah,
in
he has
Doctor
his own
Mario?
series, the Wario Land and the WarioWare series. So that's like his own sub series that doesn't count to Mario games, but his own series. The character became grown and popular, so that's why his series was made on its own. So
Got it.
very interesting, actually.
And,
Before I
and
even
Mar
be Oh, I was going to say before I got into Wario, I didn't like the character until I got into freshman year of high school. That's when I began loving this character. From Super
Okay.
Smash Bros. Brawl as a character, and then Wario Land Shake It on the Wii. That's where I began loving this character a lot. Learn
Super
a lot of it.
Smash Brothers. We haven't even talked Mario Kart, which of course is a big part of this trailer. That
I mentioned
game,
Mario Kart.
you did mention Mario Kart, but we haven't delved into
It's okay
Mario
if you
Kart.
zoned out. It's all right if you zoned out a little bit there, Pat.
Once in a while, we talk to each other so much. If we don't
Yeah.
zone out once in a while when the other one's talking, we just won't be able to get through life, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Agreed.
so there are so many Mario games. Did Mario have a part in Tetris? He had his finger in that pie to some degree, right?
Well,
I
Dr. Mario was a not Tetris-esque
Yeah, it's a
game, but it
Tetris
was
style like that. Yeah,
the
yeah.
pills had different colors and they would
Got it.
fall, and then you would
Yep.
have to get rid of lines. So that was a more rudimentary sort
Got
of
it.
Tetris-y type game.
Got it. So these Mario games, the biggest games of all time, everyone has played them. Basically, I would say at this point, the possible fan base for this movie starts at 5 or 6 years old now, because there are 5 or 6 year olds who are already getting into Mario. I've got one of our Hollywood insider connections, Deep Popcorn, was telling me that he has got tickets this Saturday because his 5-year-old daughter is obsessed with Mario, and this is she's been to a few movies in the movie theater, but this is the first one that she's legitimately excited about. Apparently, Deep Popcorn has, dragged her to a few other movies that she has not been receptive to, but she is genuinely enthusiastic about seeing this movie. And I think the fan base goes as old as 60, because Mario's been around on gaming consoles for almost 40 years.
All decades.
And you could have people who got into it when they were in their 20s who are now in their 60s who are excited to see this movie. This is a IP that has a 5 to 65 possible fan base. That is insane.
And you know what's even insane? So not kids, not younger kids, teens, tweens, and the build. Whatever you're going to say about these type of audiences, the build, the stacks, the Billy Checkies or something, whatever you said before, and the grandpas, the grandmothers, the cousins, the uncles, everyone that lives in the 1980s, all when Mario began, and still lives up to this point. This is where they know the name. If they happen to know the games, they happen to know the IP, and they know what their children knows best, they have to take them out to see this kind of movie. It'd be so cruel if they didn't for some reason,
Yeah.
For what Nintendo said to see this on the biggest screen, the way how Tom Cruise will tell everybody to see this on the biggest screen possible. You can't deny that. You can't say no to Mario for that. That's generationally the answer never to say no. Even kids never say no.
Now, do we know, Clayton, do we know if Tom Cruise has commented on the Super Mario Brothers movie? Has he seen it? Has Tom Cruise
I don't think so.
that,
But I feel like it's the back of my mind. He will want people to see these movies on the big screen.
Yes.
Especially with Top Gun. Especially maybe The Flash, too. Just to, as a comp,
Right.
Yeah,
right,
he has commented on The Flash, definitely. But as of now, I don't think he has commented on Mario either way. But I think in the spirit of his comments, he does want you to see movies theatrically, no matter what the film is.
Yes.
Yep. Yes.
So, the other thing about Mario is, I will say, he means a lot to me ethnically, because I am an Italian American, and Super Mario and Luigi are possibly Italian American, or possibly they may be first generation from Italy. We've never really determined that. I mean, we always assume Italian American, and they got the accent from their parents, but Mario and Luigi may be, they may be right off the boat. But either way, I think they hold a great importance to Italians, and then I think to people of other ethnicities, because they're relatable in that immigrant story.
Well, representation is important.
Yes.
And I can see why you have an affinity for these gentlemen. They also, according to this new film, their home base is New York City.
Okay.
So that's another thing that they have in common with you, Pat. So I see why you're very excited to see this film.
Very excited. Yeah, it's more than it's my childhood or anything like that. It's just my people. It is like,
I respect that. I didn't think that's honorable, but wow, that's very honorable of that. But
yes,
very nice.
Yes.
Very nice.
It will be very
Pat,
honorable when I see this in IMAX.
So now we don't want to get into, because I don't believe this makes a difference, but I can't speak on this because I'm not Italian.
No,
definitely. The Chris Pratt thing. The Chris Pratt thing. Okay. Let's just speak on it. Let's have you speak for all Italians here. Okay. Can we do this?
Yes, of course we could do this. Yeah.
Speak for all Italians. the Chris Pratt voicing Mario, yes, no.
You
Definitive
know,
answer, yes, no.
of course, I would rather it be Robert De Niro as Super Mario. I'd rather have been an
Mhm,
Al Pacino as Super Mario, a Paul
Uh,
Giamatti as Super
mhm.
Mario. But I am going to give Chris Pratt a chance.
Me
I
too.
Yeah.
think that he has been very good in movies I've liked, in the sense that I've liked both of his Guardians of the Galaxy movies. I think that, let's see, maybe he did the work. Maybe he went into Bensonhurst or out to Staten Island or Long Island and went into these Italian American communities and ate our pizza and listened to us speak. And maybe he did the work to pull off this performance in an authentic, representative way. So I am not going to judge the Chris Pratt thing until I see the Super Mario Brothers movie. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt that he went out and he did the work to portray Mario in a way that will make Italian Americans proud.
Okay, so this you don't think this is gonna be a Viggo Mortensen situation? It's not gonna be pasta face.
We'll see. I don't think so. I would hope that Chris Pratt and the producers of the Super Mario Brothers movie, they saw that awful Viggo Mortensen performance in with the Green Book, of
Green Book.
course, where he folds a pizza in half. And I think I don't think this Mario will be that kind of performance. I think it'll be more
Okay.
respectful. So I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. Of course, I would have rather it have been Robert De Niro playing Super Mario.
Mhm.
You know, like I was skeptical on the voice cast of Mario, first of all, especially Mario is just like you just seeing people would always wonder what the voice is gonna be like. Even if they announced the cast back in like 2021, you had Chris Pratt, not only that, you had Charlie Day as Luigi, Anya Taylor Joy's Peach, Jack Black as Bowser, which I cannot wait to see Jack Black as Bowser.
Mhm.
This is the biggest thing people are gonna talk about for years to come for him, for his career. Keegan Michael Key as Toad, and you got like others miscellaneous cast like Charles Martinet in these cameos, and Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong. Like, oh my god.
Mm.
I say Seth Rogen was a great choice. That's for sure. Jack Black, better as I expected, and Anya Taylor Joy. Chris Pratt was the one I had a little thoughts if on. Charlie Day was okay. So I'm still giving him a chance for sure. For sure. I'm sure he'll turn his
Now, this
charisma
is
on towards the end. Go ahead. Go
a
ahead.
a star-packed vocal cast. Yet, I mean, they've been promoting this movie everywhere. I mean, that's the benefit of having stars in your movie when it comes to these animated films, is that they can be the faces of these internet videos where Charlie Day and Chris Pratt say, "Oh, hey, let's eat English toffee pudding and see if we throw up," or whatever it is. And
Mhm,
oh,
mhm.
is it better than Jello pudding? Right? These kind of videos, you need a face for them, and it's better if they're famous faces.
Yes,
Anna
yes.
Taylor-Joy, she dressed up as Princess Peach for the red carpet. This is
Yes.
great. The pictures were
Mhm.
everywhere, and that
Mhm.
benefits awareness, right? But at the end of the day, kids, little kids, don't care about that. But the guardians and the parents who have to take them to it, they might care, right?
Well,
So awareness is one thing, but interest is another thing. And
mhm,
this film is even though people know Mario all the way from 5 to 65,
mhm.
does that mean a 65-year-old is gonna go see this film? I don't know if that's correct.
I I don't know if you need a 65-year-old to see it by themselves, but I think it will
Mhm.
help that a 65-year-old, like Danny said, the grandmas and the grandpas will be personally interested in this film, and then that'll make them even more excited to take their grandkids or their nieces or their nephews or whoever, their neighbor's kids, if the neighbor has something to do and they're like, "Hey, old person next door, you want to take my kids to see the Super Mario Brothers movie?" But I don't think
Mhm.
you need the single 65-year-old to leave the house to go see it by themselves for this to be successful. Listen, this is a kids movie, and that
Yes.
is And that is
Absolutely.
fine because kids movies, as we've seen with the Minions, can be gigantic. And I think this is a kids movie plus in the sense that it's a kid movie that also is just going to have appeal to people in their 20s and 30s who are going out on dates. But even if it were just a kids movie that had this level of kid interest, as we've seen with the Minions and other, Disney movies, Pixar movies, that's enough to be $1 billion baby right there.
Yeah,
I predict
I
this. I
would not.
predicted this for $1 billion. Go ahead.
Thank you, Danny.
I
I
predicted this
would say
long ago.
Pixar movies are a different beast in a sense because they do. I think maybe to their to a problem now. I mean, to a point that is now, I think, an issue. They are more about what middle-aged people think about than what kids think about. I mean, I think that's what Pixar is suffering from, right? Where, but it used to be kids and adults could enjoy Pixar movies. Now it's mostly just like, what's the midlife crisis this animator is going through? Let's make a movie about it. But the thing with the Mario movie is that from what I've read and what I've seen, this is a kids movie through and through. This isn't like
Mhm.
adults will enjoy it as much as kids. This is for kids. And I think
Well,
that might hinder it when it comes to making a ton of money over time. Because it may be a
ye
movie where a parent will go take their kid and be like, I can't sit through this again. I'm waiting for home video.
it may be, but again, I think the IP awareness for adults gives it a good shot that it won't be that case. I mean, obviously the movie could be bad. As we sit here today, we don't have reviews of this film, or at
We
least
do
I
I
have
haven't
do.
really
reviews
been
I
of
reading
it.
do.
reviews.
We do. So
55% Rotten Tomato.
now,
Okay.
you know
55%.
what? Just to point this out, first of all, F the critics. They don't care about
Thank
fun,
you. Thank you,
obviously.
Danny.
But at
Yep.
the end of the day, we got social reactions on Saturday on April 1st, which was going to be an April Fool's shit, I thought, but they turned out to be positive. So I can say the faithfulness, the Easter eggs and all were all praised, but complaints on the plot, some voice it probably. But I think audiences, regardless, and the gamers of the fans even went to see it. Like Eric Davis, I believe, he also is a Mario fan, just to give the comp. This will be a pleasantable film to watch if you're a fan of the series, that's for sure. But if you're
Right.
having to be an average moviegoer, you're probably gonna just say it's like average, pretty
Right,
much.
right,
Mhm.
right. Which I think for a movie that could make a giant amount of money if only kids liked it, that's more than good enough.
That's
Was
exactly.
what I'm thinking. I think
And
that you look at something like the Minions, that has no adult appeal, and those movies end up doing $1 billion worldwide. And I think Super Mario Brothers, just from the recognizability and the nostalgia of the IP, has so much more adult appeal than something like Minions ever could. So I
Yes.
mean, you definitely seem low on this movie, Clayton. I'll throw this out to you right now just to set this base. The Super Mario Brothers movie, of course, the famous movie starring John Leguizamo as Luigi and Bob Hoskins as Mario, came out on May 28th, 1993, opened to $9.6 million. Will this new Mario Brothers movie make more than that?
Well, yes. Yes.
Okay.
it's a
Yes.
it's a no-brainer. It's completely yes. That's for
We've
sure.
and will it make more than the aforementioned Fred Savage starring The Wizard, which of course was a movie about them getting to play the new release of Super Mario Brothers 3. That came out in 1989
Really.
and
Mhm.
opened to
19.
2.1 million. So then of course it will make more than that film.
I didn't
Yes.
know about that movie. I'll
Yes.
have to look it up. What's it called? The Wizarding, you said?
It is
The
it is
Wizard.
called The Wizard,
The
and
Wizard.
it is about a young Fred Savage on a journey to play a tournament, which will unveil the new Super Mario Brothers video game. That's how big the Mario
Ah,
Brothers were. There was a
I
movie about
see.
getting to see clips from the new video game.
Mhm.
Interesting. I gotta look it up about that for sure. Nice
So
cover.
I'll throw another one out here, Clayton.
Okay.
Um, the the biggest video game opening of all time, I'm pretty sure, is last year, April 8th, 2022, Sonic the Hedgehog 2 opened to
Mhm.
$72.1 million. So let's throw that out as another bar. Will this Super Mario Brothers movie make more than Sonic the Hedgehog 2 and become the highest grossing opening weekend ever for a video game adaptation? I'll go to you first, Danny. Will it go higher or lower?
The higher. You see my thumbs right there for the people who are watching on YouTube. It's an obvious yes. And to also throw this question to you both. Mario is bigger than Sonic as an IP. True or false?
Yes.
Yeah, there's more awareness of Mario than there
It's
is of
more
Sonic.
awareness, even though Sonic
Absolutely.
is a good fan base for sure for the kids, but Mario's way bigger, especially it was born before Sonic in 1991,
Mm-hmm.
1993, yeah, something like that. But Mario came way before Sonic, that's for sure. That's how awareness it was for Mario.
So Clay, without giving your final prediction for Mario, we won't go there yet. I guess give me an over under 72 million. Is Super Mario Brothers going to be the biggest video game movie adaptation opening of all time?
Are we talking weekend? Are we talking 3-day or 5-day?
That is true. This is opening
Doesn't
on a
matter.
Wednesday.
Yeah. They
Let's
would
go
usually say it's
3-day.
a 3-day. Yeah, 3-day.
3-day. Will it have a 3-day weekend bigger than 72 million?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
I
So
mean, I do think that this is going to make at the very least 100 in its 3-day.
okay, great.
I
So
just think
I
kids
think
are out of school. The rats need their cheese. The awareness is
yes.
there.
I was going to say
My
about the rats. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
my thing with this is I'm not talking about this opening weekend. I think it could be a little bit softer than people are thinking, but I think what really is going to suffer is I don't know if this is going to be a $1 billion baby. I'm sorry, Danny. I don't know if it'll be that.
That's a good
Just
question.
because I
That's a good comp. Now, to the fans of the gamers, it's like a Marvel event because there is a post-credit scene to say what happens next. I don't know what happens,
uh-huh.
I'm saying. So I think the gamers are going to try to come out for this whole weekend to see
Mhm.
what happens next. So that's like, gotta go see this before spoilage online, etc., etc. Now, good question. It's going to dedicate the legs for the families of kids. I'm not sure if gamers are going to like prompt to see this movie again if they wanted to say how good it was. Even for me, I might go see it a few times if it's super good to me. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that is
So
going to see where it's at. Go ahead.
now this is not at the same level, of course, because it's not Mario is going to make more money than this film.
Mm-hmm.
I think domestically, or
Mm-hmm.
it might not actually. Puss in Boots, right?
Okay.
The Last Wish, okay? That was a film that, of course, opened soft for a number of reasons, but then went on this long run that just ended very recently. But that was a movie that both adults and kids loved. That's what got that movie to over $175 million domestic, is that we had someone who emailed us, and gosh, I wish I could remember who it was, but they said that in one of the first weekends, they saw a little kid dancing at the end, shaking his little butt,
Mm-hmm.
and then the other end of the theater was a middle-aged man shaking his tuchus. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Mario's going to have the same thing. There might be the little kids jumping around and singing to the Mario music, and there could be a 45-year-old going, and
Mm-hmm.
that's for the YouTubers. The YouTube fans, I crossed my arms and I was silent.
Right. I
That's the
thought you were
thing that could
planking. I
keep
thought
this.
you were planking.
No,
Yeah,
I wasn't planking.
it looks funny
My
for sure.
planking,
Mhm.
click here for my planking channel
Mhm,
right here.
mhm.
Subscribe to my planking channel.
Yep.
But yep. Thank you, Danny. So I think that that's the thing that's going to hold this back, maybe. I mean, do you guys think this domestically is going to make more than Puss in Boots?
I mean, I think if it doesn't, then this is a disaster. Because listen, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, incredible hit, incredible legs, greatest showman type run. It has made $184 million domestic. If we're
Mhm.
thinking the Super Mario Brothers movie is opening over 100 million, 5-day more than that. If this movie
Yeah.
makes less than 184 million, it's a disaster. So yes, 100% slam doink. It's going to make more than Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. And if it doesn't, honestly, that means there may have been some kind of population ending disaster that happens in the next week. You know,
Really? So you think if this thing doesn't leg out to at least over 250, maybe even 3 domestic, then there's an extinction level event.
yes, yes, because I don't
W
even
you're
think
now
the
so you're
start of a
very confident.
I don't even think the start of a pandemic would keep it at under 184. Because remember, when the 2020 pandemic started, you still had a few more weeks where Invisible Man and Bloodshot and those movies were in movie theaters.
Yeah, yeah.
So it would be extinction level event that happens in the next few weeks if the Super Mario Brothers movie doesn't get over $184 million. Yes, that is what
I
it
mean,
would
I
take.
guess I guess I'm focusing too much on the long term of this and not on the
Yes,
short term of this, which
yes,
is this is about the opening weekend,
exactly.
and I don't know if bad buzz or adults disliking this film is going to really affect the first 5 days.
Right. And that's again, if adults actually are disliking this film, because reviews and a 55% Rotten Tomato meter does not equal adult moviegoers don't love this movie. You know, that is
Yeah.
still to be seen. Because this is a Super Mario Brothers movie. This movie getting great critical reviews would have been bananas.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
don't think that is a barometer at all on this. I want to go back to talking about the cast as we preview this movie. One name that I think we really should focus on, and Danny, you highlighted it when you said his name. Jack Black is playing Bowser, aka
Mhm.
King Koopa. I
Yeah.
mean, if this is a kids movie, you can't have a better person in your cast than Jack Black. So Danny, as a youngster, you know, repping the young generation, what is Jack Black's stardom to people who are in their 20s and younger? Like, what do you know him from? What does he mean to the young people? Is he a draw?
School of Rock,
Mhm.
Goosebumps, where he played R.L. Stein, Gulliver's Travel. I didn't see that one, unfortunately. Jumanji,
There you go.
and I'm pretty sure I don't know if I miss a few clicks of stardom, but Jumanji,
Yeah.
School Rock, Goosebumps.
Okay. Tenacious
So,
D in the Pick of Destiny, that doesn't mean anything to you, right?
oh,
No.
he was in King Kong though, right? I'm pretty sure I forgot King Kong
And
Mhm.
he
was a
was in
comp of
King
that.
Kong. Yes.
Yep.
Yes. So that's the thing, Clayton. I think Jack Black is the perfect guy to have in this cast, both for the promotion and I think adults love him. You know, even people in their 60s, they were probably that's who were Tenacious D fans, let's be honest. And he's just a guy who's been a famous guy and he's great in kids' movies. I think he's going to mean a lot to this box office the next few weeks.
He had a gaming channel for a while there. He had a
Mhm.
gaming channel, it was called Jablinski Games on YouTube, I used to subscribe to
Really?
it.
Oh, I
Yeah,
gotta check it out. I gotta check it out.
so he's a legit gamer. Yeah, I mean, I do
Okay.
think he's revitalized his career by doing kids films, which is what a lot of the comedic actors end up doing at a certain point after they have kids. They're like, "I wanna make movies that my kids can watch," and he has
Yes.
done that as successfully as you can do it.
Mhm. Mhm. So, what are I want to get what is everyone's plans for seeing this film? So Danny, do you already have tickets to see Super Mario Brothers this week?
Yes, there might be a little bad news. Obviously, in Michigan, Michigan has dumb weather for no goddamn reason. So
Mhm.
there might be a little thunderstorm, a little mix of like severe weather going on. I'm praying it just goes smoother. I'm seeing at 6:30 p.m. tomorrow, and if it
Wow.
doesn't just go normal, my replan is to see it Friday with my young siblings. So at the moment,
Okay.
at least. So yeah, I'm hoping tomorrow's fine. I'm praying to God, but if it all else fails, Friday for sure.
Got it.
So
So, Clayton, of course, we were talking about this off mic. I got tickets for myself, for yourself, and for friend of the show, Aaron Rose Foley Chan, to go see this in IMAX on Saturday night. But You, as of now, are not committing to it because you have to get up early on Sunday, and I of
Yep.
course, think you need to rethink that.
I mean, listen, there are movies I
IMAX.
would lose out on sleep for, and Mario Brothers is not one of those films.
Wow.
Mm.
Wow. Wow.
If this was an Air situation, if we were going to see Ben Affleck and Matt Damon and Chris Tucker in Air, I would say, you know what? I'll sleep when I'm dead. But
Wow.
it's
How
Mario Brothers. It's a cartoon film. I am a grown man, and
Oh,
so
boy.
I am saying I will sleep.
Wow.
if it was Top
Wow.
Gun, would you sleep?
I
Just
would
to
never
compare.
no, no, of
Good.
course not.
Okay.
I
So
Top
pretend this is
Gun,
Top
no.
Gun like that. Yeah, okay.
I mean,
Pretend.
you can even the limits of my imagination are not that vast, Danny, to pretend that this is Top Gun. Listen, I have nothing against Mario. I have nothing against Mario fans, but a person, making a personal
Do you have
choice.
something against Italians?
Well, you know that. Yes, of course I do. But
Yes, you
that
do.
is not factoring in to my decision for this film. But I just think that I am not going to enjoy this movie because it is a kids movie.
Oh, boy. Well, a movie you did mention that I think we should touch on in this weekend preview. There is another big movie opening this weekend. It is Air, the story of
Mhm.
Michael Jordan's Air Jordan sneakers at Nike. It is starring Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. They're back together. Ben Affleck directed this film. Of course, Ben Affleck directed great movies like The Town and Argo and Gone Baby Gone. And, this is his comeback directorial effort. It's getting a wide release thanks to the great Amazon Studios. They're
I was
putting
gonna
this
say
out.
Amazon.
Yes. So Danny, you
Well,
salute
here
that
go though.
Amazon is putting
This is
movies in movie
Amazon.
theaters. Yeah. This is Amazon. And they're putting
But
this,
this will be the big test because this isn't MGM. This is Amazon.
well,
This
MGM's
is
owned by
actual
Amazon. It's all the same thing.
Amazon.
It's all the
Stop it.
same thing.
This is actually Amazon who are going to try and successfully launch a film in theaters, and a film that is meant to make money, not a film that is an awards aimed film like they were doing before, or small comedies like
Well,
Late Night, the thing that torpedoed them.
I think Air is going to be both for them. I mean, I think this is
Yeah,
definitely an awards
the
play as
reviews are
well.
super strong, and like reaction wise from social media, it's just might be both of that contending like that. Even Oscars could
Yeah.
happen.
Yep.
I'm
Top 10
talking
of the
about
year.
movies like what was the one with that case, Manchester by the Sea? That is an awards play, right? I don't
Right.
know if they were
Yeah.
expecting that movie to make 50, 60, 70 million dollars. That was more like we won a trophy. This is a movie that could be both.
Well, I
I
mean,
think the main
Manchester
aim,
by the Sea did make $48 million domestic, so it was very successful for that type
how
of
much of
movie.
that was after it won?
Well, that I don't have right in front of me, but I mean,
Yeah.
it is a movie that did well at the box office, for an adult
Okay.
drama. And it seems like it made all of its money. It got to $47 million before March of that year. So it made all its money before the Oscars.
But this has Argo potential. I mean, this has more potential than a movie about, spoiler alert, a depressed man who killed his kids in a fire because he was drunk.
Well,
He killed his whole family, right?
what do
No,
you
no, he didn't
think?
kill his wife.
What do you think then a successful opening weekend for this movie would be? Because I don't think Air is a movie that has any shot of opening. I think high end would be 15 or 16. That would be
Oh yeah, but
incredible.
see, this is the opposite case of Mario here. Is that, I mean, this is like the legs could take this thing if people
Yes.
love it, and the good word of mouth, because there's going to be people who are either going to see Mario first or just stay home, and they're going to need to know this movie is great.
Right.
Now, again, critics don't matter, huh?
Huh?
99% right now on Rotten Tomatoes for this film.
Right.
So obviously, this feels like it's a little bit of catnip for critics, but I do think that this is a movie that could end up making more than something like Manchester,
Right.
just
So,
because people love sneakers and people love
well,
basketball.
going to our youth correspondent here, Danny. Um, what does Michael Jordan mean to you? You know, he also, like Mario, is a icon of the late 80s and of the 90s. But obviously Michael Jordan had to stop playing basketball at one point, unlike Mario, who could race his Mario Kart forever and ever. Is Michael Jordan a big star? Are the Air Jordans themselves still something that people of your generation are going bananas for? What is your interest level in Air, the Michael Jordan Air Jordan story?
Unfortunately, I don't have interest because Mario. Second of all, I do know Michael
Mhm.
Jordan is a big, big star. Yes, and Space Jam, the 1998 one, I believe, was a
Mhm.
huge star hit. Obviously, um, yeah. I mean, the brand himself, even it's been popular in the trend since he's been playing basketball, and then these brands of that came on to appealing to many people who enjoys Michael Jordan, watching him play, and then his brand going on. So, yeah, it totally means a lot to even I respect that and respect people like that as well. So I'm sure it is an IP like that. Not as wide as Mario that's been along, but yeah, Michael Jordan definitely fits to be a decade of that.
So yeah, Michael Jordan still has that appeal. The sneakers probably more so. I am also seeing this film on Friday night, and I'm seeing it with my wife because she cannot wait to see Ben Affleck and Matt Damon together again. So I think that's a huge thing. I think Affleck and Damon as a team have a lot of appeal to men and women. And I think Ben Affleck has really done well for himself being photographed with all those Dunkin' Donuts and getting back together with J Lo. I think that's really made him popular again, I think, amongst women in their 20s and 30s. Uh,
Now,
Clayton, do you think that Ben Affleck has done good for himself by being photographed with so much Dunkin' Donuts these last few years?
he's a man of the people, and I
Mhm.
think men of the people are making a comeback, right?
Mhm.
You've got
Mhm.
Tom Cruise and Maverick, right? That was such a successful movie because it as that character felt like a man of the people, right? You're
Yep.
seeing Tom Hanks in A Man Called Otto. Now that wasn't a barn burning hit, but people went to see it because he feels like a man of the people.
Yep.
Those kind of actors are having a moment right now.
Yep.
And I
Yep.
think that Ben Affleck can join that group. Now, I'm going to give you guys a really interesting factoid here
Okay.
about Mario and Michael Jordan. So, Mario's first appearance in a video game was Donkey Kong,
Mhm.
which was released in 1981. And Michael Jordan's freshman year of college was 1981. So, in the public
Oh,
consciousness, both of these icons have been around the same amount of time. So it
Wow.
wow.
is a battle
Interesting.
of the 40 plus year icons.
Wow.
Damn, yes.
Isn't that
Wow.
interesting?
It's interesting. I learned that fact right now. Oh my goodness. I
Yeah.
see how that
Wow.
goes. Wow.
Yeah, I mean that is amazing. I think that Mario's probably going to be the first choice, but I think you're right that Air is going to be something that's going to make its bones in the weeks to come.
Mhm.
But amazing that these two icons from the 80s have endured and are still so popular right now. And you know, when you mentioned though how the man of the people is making a comeback, obviously Ben Affleck, he's a man of the people, but there is no bigger man of the people than Super Mario himself. I mean, he is a
He is a
plumber.
plumber. Yep.
He lives in pipes. You know, he bursts out of pipes. He wears overalls. There is no
Mhm.
more man of the people than Mario. And I think he will, like Maverick himself, he'll be someone who appeals to the coasts. He's from New York, but he's going to appeal to the stacks, to the plain billies who know what a day's labor is like the way Mario the plumber does.
Well, workwear is very popular
Mm-hmm.
in the fashion world right now, and for
Mm.
young people in New York City, you see people wearing workwear even when they are just out on a stroll. So
Mm-hmm.
Mario and Luigi, they're rocking that workwear. So that is something that I think people can relate to.
So, guys, do we want to get into it and give our actual predictions for what is going to happen this weekend, what the numbers are going to be on these
Mhm.
movies? I think it's
Before we
time.
do, I was
Yes.
going to out back to what you were saying about can it make over Puss in Boots domestically? It's crazy if it
Yeah.
doesn't. It has to. It has to at least.
Yeah.
I could say 300 up to that. It's gonna be good. Especially it costs a little more than what animated movies usually make. So I mean, budget wise, I don't know how much it costs, but it's like 100 or something. That's all I know. But I'm sure it'll
Mhm.
pass Puss in Boots for the time being. Yes,
Yeah.
for sure. I,
I mean,
I'm calling out.
Clayton, there is a world that this is not going to be my prediction. There's a world in which this movie opens and it's 5 day and gets close to making what Last Wish did in total. I mean, there is
Oh, I
a
mean, it could make
scenario when,
150.
yeah, for sure. So again, it would take an extinction level event for Super Mario Brothers to not end up in the end making more than $184 million.
Mhm, mhm.
Absolutely.
Um, so I think let's get into it. And Clayton, do you want to, or you know what? Let's let our guest go
Guessed.
first. Yeah,
Let's go.
Danny, why don't you give the first prediction? Give us your top five and give us your predicted 3 day number for Super Mario Brothers and Air when you get to them in your top five.
So number one, Slam Doink, Jump
Mm-hmm.
Pop Out, the Super Block Coin Mario Brothers movie. I'm predict. Look, I said this on my own show on the Road to Mario episode. I may be going too much on the 5 or 3 day. I'm going 163, 162 probably at my most, at least. Even if it's a 5 day, cool. But I'm going 162 on that 3 or 5 day. I can say. Hopefully the IP is bigger. The word of mouth audiences gets people to come on seeing this for sure. It's a 5 day. I'm hoping the kids will even like it. Even the critics don't matter, huh?
Huh.
Huh?
So I gotta go one number. I gotta go 162 for sure. So number one, Slam Dunk Mario Brothers movie. Number two, I say it's going to be Dungeons and Dragons, perhaps. I had a great time with that movie, by the way. My review's up on
Oh,
my
wow.
podcast, by the way.
I
It's
saw
probably
that.
one of my biggest surprises of the year. I love that movie actually, since Bullet Train. So number two, Dungeons and Dragons. Number three is gonna be for sure Air. Air for
Hmm.
sure. I don't know. I think I don't know. I don't have an exact number, but I'm going at least $11 million opening day weekend.
Yep.
At least if the Mario IP takes over that all weekend. Let me just say that right now. Even it might affect Dungeons and Dragons, but Paramount Pictures, I hope they get this dub too.
Mm-hmm.
Number four, John Wick Chapter 4. Incredible movie, I'd say. Number four. And number five, I'd say Scream 6. And yeah,
Wow.
Creed 3 and Shazam are going to be out of the top five. But I think Creed's going to be above than Shazam for sure. Yeah.
Wow. I love it, Danny. Those are some great picks. And I'm gonna go next here. So number one, of course, will be the Super Mario Brothers movie. And I'm going big on this. I'm going the 3 day is going to be $132 million. That is my predicted 3 day weekend. I think this smashes the opening of the original Minions movie. It's going to
I
be
agree.
Illumination's biggest opening ever. And I'm going with $170 million 5 day
Ah,
haul for the
Wow.
Super Mario
my friend
Brothers
just
movie.
predicted that on my show for it around 170 or something. Yeah.
I'm going 170. This is going to be gigantic. Scott Mendelson from last year was talking about how he thinks the Super Mario Brothers movie will be the biggest grossing movie of this entire year. And you either go big or you go home. This is Pixar level. This is MCU classic level. This is an event. Super Mario Brothers movie, 170 for the 5-day. So that's where I'm going with that. Number 2 is going to be Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves. I think it'll do about 16-17 million dollars probably. So for number 2, then number 3 is going to be it is tough here, but I think I'm going to go John Wick. Chapter 4 is going to be number 3, and that'll do about right underneath Dungeon Dragons. It's probably going to be close. And then I'm going to go Air number 4, and I think Air could open to $14 million in the 3-day. I think the comp I'm going to go with here is House of Gucci. And obviously, this movie doesn't have Lady Gaga, but House of Gucci opened in November 2021, still a COVID time. But I think Air plays to that same audience, an audience that likes those stars and a sort of adult, fun star vehicle. And I think it'll do the same $14 million that Gucci did then. And it might get 220 in the 5-day. I think it's going to get. Gucci did 22. I'll say it does the same 3 and 5 days House of Gucci. So that's good for number 4. And then number 5 is going to be, I think Danny nailed it. I think it's Scream 6. It's not going to be his only son. They're, the fans of that movie are going to be home celebrating Easter. So yeah, it is looking at this. It's very interesting how Dungeons and Dragons, John Wick, and Air could all come very close to one another. So I think those are very interchangeable in the lineup. So, but that's where I'm going. So Clayton, take us home with your predictions for your top 5.
Well, barring an extinction level event, of course, that should be just understood. Mario number 1 slam dunk, of course.
Yep.
3-day. I mean, the one thing that makes me think, Pat, I think you're a little. That's pretty high. But movies have been overperforming. We still haven't caught up to how many people are actually going to the theater, I feel like, right? I mean, everything has felt like it's gone a little bit higher than expected. So I'm going to go modestly high for me on this 3-day. And I'm going to say 130.
Okay.
That's high for me.
That's
for what
high.
I think it's going to actually do. For
3-day?
me, it's high.
Yeah. I'm high on mushrooms right now.
Great. Awesome. That's nice to just get a nice mushroom high before you go to bed.
Just like
Now,
Mario.
Now, I think with that, saying 130, I think this is going to make 150 5-day.
Okay. Okay.
So that is my Mario. Number 2, D&D. I have faith in this movie, even though it did keep dropping. I mean, it even dropped after we did our episode Monday morning. The weekend amount dropped, but I do think excellent word of mouth. People are gonna see this movie in enough numbers that it is gonna beat John Wick. So I think number 3 is gonna be John Wick 4. Number 4 is going to be Air. I'm thinking 12 around that, 11, 12 for the 3-day, and then more of like a 19. I think 19 for the 5-day.
Okay.
I do think that's a movie people are going to see later. And then number 5, I think it's going to be Scream 6.
Wow.
A resilient
Wow.
movie that is going to be over 100 million, is already over 100 million. Another win for Paramount, the best studio
Mhm.
going. And
Yes.
so, yeah,
Yes.
so that is my top 5.
Wow.
Back to my thing real quick. I want to make a little change. So for
Okay.
the 5-day, it's definitely 162, but for the 3-day, I'd say 135. And
Okay.
Interesting.
back to my top 5. I forgot how John Wick had a decent drop being second place, so I'm gonna have to switch Air from number 3 to number 4, like you guys, and have John Wick's number 3, Dungeons and Dragons number 2. So,
Yeah.
Okay.
yep, that's my final thoughts. That's it. That's what I'm making
Yeah.
some NAs.
I mean,
Fair.
here's the big takeaway. We all think that the Super Mario Brothers movie is poised to make $130 million or more in its 3-day weekend.
Yeah.
So even a Clayton who has some doubts about this film, who as of right now doesn't want to give up his sleep to see this film, though that may change over the course of this week. Even Clayton has this pegged for over $130 million. The
Mhm.
anticipation for this movie is Pixar, Marvel level. Marvel, of course, from 4 or 5 years ago, not today Marvel. It is that level of event. So this is a very exciting weekend, guys. And I'm very glad to have been able to share this with you. And Danny, thank you for being on the show, but also for being in character as Wario. This is incredible for our
Mhm.
YouTube viewers.
You know what they say? Greed is good.
That's the saying. That is the
Nice.
saying.
greed,
Um,
greed is good. Wow.
so Danny, tell our listeners, tell the wanna be O boys, wanna be O girls, wanna be O people
People.
People.
where they could find you, what your show is about, and why they should be excited to listen to the newest episodes.
So my podcast, again, for those that haven't been checking it out, I will love to throw reminders, or for those coming in new, my podcast, I am a genetic indie podcaster. Loves going to the movies, see whatever's on the big screen that I anticipate love to see, depending on the marketing. Then I just drop my reviews, share on the mic. I either do it solely or have most of the time guests as I can. I also do little topics depending on the feed going on in movie business. And I just released my Dungeons and Dragons episode. Need some support on that one before I drop the Mario review, which actually it's going to be next week of the review, because my friend of mine who was going to be on my show for that, he isn't seeing it till next week. So, and besides, I have nothing else to see throughout the whole month of April, just Mario before heading into May. So my Mario review will be dropping at least next Thursday, at the least, for sure. So totally a big episode for you guys to check out, especially my Dungeons and Dragons episode. Also, but the Mario review, you should definitely look into that for sure. I even released a pregame Hype Road Mario episode where I got nostalgic with my guest, trip down the memory lane. So don't forget to check that out if you want to. I even have a YouTube channel available since January. You guys are welcome to subscribe on there. I Screen, You Screen for Movies is the name. And, whatever podcast you can find me on that you listen to.
Great. So you got to go to Danny's YouTube channel, and we're all pointing down at it. Down there, you got to subscribe, smash that subscribe button, smash that like button, smash, smash,
Yep.
smash. That is very
Super
important.
Smash Brothers.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. And of course, you could like, subscribe, smash our YouTube channel. The BO Boys are on YouTube. We are YouTubers. Give us 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts. Email us at the BO Boys Podcast at gmail.com. We love getting your emails and your predictions. I'll just throw out this number. Austin, you sent us an incredible email with your thoughts about Super Mario, and I'm just going to throw out Austin's number predictions. So for the 3-day, Austin has Mario opening to 108 million, and then number 2, he's got D&D holding well at 17. He's got John Wick number 3. He's got Air opening at 13. And then he's got Creed 3 at number 5, not Scream 6. So
Ooh.
there you go. So thank you, Austin, for your great email. and your predictions.
Real quick, my social media wise, for those that want to find me, you can find me on Twitter. I forgot to mention on Twitter at ISUS4M Pod. Again, that is ISUS4M Pod to the listeners that want to follow me on Twitter, or they can leave it in the description of the episode show notes. And I do have a TikTok. I post not only my quick reviews out of the theaters, but I do post audiograms, etc., etc. So my name's I Screen You Screen for Movies on TikTok. If you guys want to find me on there as well and give it a follow and support. Yeah, that's it, really.
I mean, guys, I think we've done it. There's nothing else to say, right?
We
Clayton?
totally
Is there
done
any-
it.
We've done it.
No,
done it.
there's nothing else to say except for until next time.
Will
smell you at
The
the bar.